What's up guys, welcome back to Games with Grant and Disco Elysium once again. Will I ever solve this murder? That is the question leading into today's playthrough. And important note is that today I have just downloaded the latest patch for this game. So, have they fixed some of the things that I was having issues with? Will I encounter more problems? Only time will tell. So, where am I? Let's head back to the sandcastle, because I believe that's one of the issues that should have been fixed now. Can I interact with the sandcastle? Can I get these gloves? There we go, that's what I wanted. Hip hip hooray!
To Lily's little sandcastle. The once mighty towers are quickly eroding away. You can see something shining back to you from what must have been a vast underground catacomb network.
Yeah, let's just get straight to the point.
The walls and floors give way to the giant's greed, collapse and present you with a pair of ceramic gauntlets.
Congratulations. That's the gauntlets down then. We're doing good on the armor collection front.
Can I actually wear these? I can. I'm not sure why I would, but hey, why not? I've been wearing rubber gloves all the way through the game, so... You know what, I'm gonna take them off. Don't see the point right now. Still got a hell of a lot of objectives to accomplish. Yes, I also had a shave as well. Still not quite sure if that was a good decision or not. What's that? Yes, that's right. I don't think I interacted with these yesterday. I think that's where I left off. Cavalry boots. That's interesting. Let's see these cavalry boots. Oh, I like that.
Hi, officer. Anything I can help you with?
As always, I am the Lawbringer. That depends. Where are we exactly?
A fishing village on the seashore. This place doesn't really have a name. It's sometimes called Elysium.
Why?
The sign on the street leading here is illegible. Has been since they built this place.
I've questions. The first is, what's your name?
The name is Lillian. People call me Netpicker. I think I have time for questions. And that was actually the second one.
Indeed, you're always confused as to your whereabouts. Ask her about the cool sword. Helps to break the ice.
Nice sword. Does it come with a story?
Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of a story. It's to intimidate folks mostly.
Hold on, do you know how to use it?
Not really. I know some basic moves, and I know it sure as hell beats a knife when you're in a tough spot.
It is imposing.
It's a regular mass-produced sword, like a shovel or an axe. Nothing fancy, just for intimidation.
Why do you need intimidation tactics?
From time to time, people need a lesson in respect. That's just the way it is. Back in the day, I caught the eyes of many men. And believe me, men need a lesson in manners from time to time.
Figures, typical patriarchal nonsense, mascu venomosity. Why, right.
Sure. Venomosity. But boys will be boys, and God knows we don't have many around. So far the sword has been enough to keep them in line.
Can I borrow the sword?
No, I'm afraid not. Tempting to confiscate the blade I used to keep these animals in check. You would put me in an early grave.
So why are all of these men?
Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Others were more thick-headed. And one of them, I ended up marrying.
Where's your husband now?
Gone.
Gone where?
To the waves. The sea took him. It was a long time ago.
Oh. That's bad. What happened?
Who knows? Maybe he fell over. He didn't respect the sea. Went out there, drunk like a skunk, and sure enough, one day the boat was found floating empty. The bloated corpse turned up 2 weeks later. Now, before you tell me how sorry you are for my loss, know that it was 4 years ago, and I've moved on. There's only so much mourning you can do for a drunk with sinewy muscles.
Well, I'm not saying that top one. That one might take it quite the opposite direction. It's healthy to let go and move on. Gotta keep the wheels spinning.
Us working folk don't have the luxury to be bedsick with melancholy. I buried him, mourned for an appropriate amount of time, and went on. Life didn't really change that much for me and the kids.
This is neither a touchy nor a very interesting topic for her.
I'm looking for someone. Maybe you can help.
Let's see. Who are you looking for? Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
What the hell's the point in that question if it doesn't actually give it the options to look for someone? What do you do around here?
Like I said, fish mostly. Sail the waves, take care of the kids, pick nets. Right now I'm tarring a little skiff.
Is that enough to make a living?
Sometimes I also walk to the beach to see what the sea has given up. The sea is full of surprises.
Keep it professional, man. Don't make it sound like you're hitting on her.
Interesting. What have you found?
Wood, pieces of glass. Every once in a while we see dead bodies. Human, animal, fish, other odd sea creatures. A mine washed ashore once. Bottles, drugs also. Lost cargo in general. Most of the time it's just wood and glass.
All right. Major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
Right, which one do I want to do? This place looks bad. Why don't you leave?
And go where? The fish are plentiful here and we get enough orders to get by. It's not great, but it's something.
You just gotta follow the work. That's where the money sleeps. Anywhere with better opportunities. Just somewhere. Away from all this sadness.
People imagine picking up and finding something better is an easy solution. But how is that supposed to work when all your time and energy goes to staying alive? You have almost nothing to set aside to actually fight your way out.
Hordes of wild, homeless people roaming the lands. Nomads scattered across an endless plain. In a dystopian world where tear is the only valid currency and people eat each other to stay alive.
I don't mean to complain about my pauper life. We are warm and fed here and... I don't know. There's just something about this shithole.
So I take it that's your skiff.
Sure is. The Sun, I call her. Coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. It'll take some time for it to dry, assuming the sunny days continue.
Right, well, that was a pointless conversation. The planks creak beneath your weight. Hey kids, oh never mind. Where's that coming from? The ladder leads to a school of fish swimming in the kelp. What's the point in this place here? Right, so I'm currently heading back towards where I started, basically. Oh, I thought there was a whole other area of this place to explore, but it seems like maybe I've explored all of it. There's a trap there I need to check out.
A familiar apparatus lies among the reeds, another one of Morel's traps, weighed down by stones to keep it in place. The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. You see slabs of concrete north. In the east, the city center hums to you. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again, always the cold. This trap is also full of panicked locusts. No sign of any cryptozoological beast inside.
Another empty trap.
Let's keep going. The next one is the lucky one. How are you enjoying the cardio, Lieutenant? I'm quite enjoying it myself. I want to make it clear that I don't actually believe the phasmid exists, okay?
Of course. Noted.
So, 2 more traps left. I have explored everywhere, haven't I? Just gonna double check up this way. What's that? A creaking ahead, a broken axle grinding. What's that? Banged up fuel canister.
A banged up motor carriage lies half submerged in the icy water, slowly sinking into the Insulindian Ocean. Only the cabin top, rear wheels, and the engine remain visible.
And it looks like they've got some sort of glitch connected to them, because all I'm seeing is a white block, really.
It must be cold and lonely down there, in the icy water. Remember the tire tracks in Martinez? This is where they were leading.
This is where the tracks on the plaza were leading to.
It appears to be so.
Let's investigate.
I agree. We should definitely investigate.
You get a sudden, sinking feeling. Stomach acid comes up as you look at the motor carriage in the deep, dark, cold water. Why the doom and gloom? It's just a sunken motor carriage. Some motor carriages are bound to end up in the sea.
Run your hand over the cold metal. Well, that's going to be cold.
The motor carriage is properly stuck in the ice. Getting it out would require a team of specialists.
What is the make of this MC? Can I see a logo?
The logo is too deep in murky water. You can't make it out, but you do see a monkfish float by.
How long has it been here?
The ice hasn't closed around the vehicle yet. My guess is it's been here since last Saturday or Sunday.
The estimate is correct. The incident probably occurred on Sunday evening.
Well, well, well. Looks like Jacob Ayer's journey came to an abrupt end here.
Your mocking tone finds no response, but the motion of the waves.
Did you say something, Lieutenant? Yes, yes. Crazy recklessness. Yet another case of the engine displacement triumphant over the driver's IQ.
I did not. But I'd say it has been here since last Saturday or Sunday.
Sometimes Kim's no fun.
Let's wait for the low tide and see what's inside.
Great idea. Then we can get the things inside. The joyrider must have left something good inside. Guns, papers, maybe a cool jacket. A joyrider jacket. A joyrider jacket. You feel a strange connection to this joyrider. Maybe he's from some kind of joyriders district and likes blue and white racing livery, like a cop would.
How long will it take for the low tide to come in?
I don't know. An hour or two, tops?
Sit on the swing and wait for the tide to recede. Oh, so it's actually not giving me a choice in that matter. I did have other things
As you
to do.
sit down in the old, rusty playground, the world around you becomes very silent. The hinges creak under your weight, dangerously so. Nothing but the sound of seagulls high above in the sky, echoing like distant laughter. Ice cracks around the blue motor carriage in the sea. The tune on your lips forms a strange yet undeniably beautiful contrast with the surrounding bleakness. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance, then, still looking straight ahead, he joins you with a higher pitched and slightly more melodic trill. Two birds on a wire, whistling by the seaside. looking at the water and the sunken car.
It'd be nice if I could actually hear the whistling.
The clouds pass in the sky, and the shadow of the swing moves like the hour hand on a timepiece. 30 minutes have passed. Looks like this might take a while. Time to present a good topic for discussion.
No, I'm not quite sure what he's getting at. The tide sure is taking its sweet time. Would you rather sit on an anthill for an hour or stand in a river of leeches?
Well, historically, leeches have been used to prevent and even cure many ailments.
Okay, he's thinking. I can do this. Let's do this. Who'd want to sit on an anthill? There are no therapeutic benefits to... Well, napalm ants, for example, are used in some rites of passage rituals. Clouds on the horizon grow darker, and the shadow of the swing set keeps climbing. You hear the distant rumble of the city. 30 minutes pass.
If you have to side with either the strikers or the shipping company, who would you choose? Do you think I will ever find my gun?
Luckily, I am already a member of an independent organization, and therefore do not have to choose between a rock and a hard place.
But if someone puts a gun to your head, I guess that's just your way of saying you'd side with the company.
Your voice echoes on the water, strange and out of place in the environment. 30 more minutes pass.
Detective, I've been able to make out the mark ever since we arrived. I find it odd that you haven't. It's a Capri, Model 40. It is a simple and rugged machine, favored by working men, government offices, firefighters, animal control people, you know, those kinds of people. Yes, 41. What do you think it stands for?
It's as if he knows what it stands for, but wants you to say it. It's pedagogical. Does he know something about the driver of this vehicle?
41 is his rank in the underground street racing hierarchy. Small fish, this one. 41, huh? This street racer is quite the ladies' man. This must be Tommy 41, the morning host of FM 41. Looks like the factory made a mistake and accidentally called this one Capri 41. Stupid factory. I hate guessing district something, a precinct something, municipal. You're getting a horrible headache.
A precinct? Yes. The police precinct. Precinct 41. Your precinct.
A massive pit opens up in your stomach, and the most terrible feeling comes over you.
Yeah, this is my car, isn't it?
You feel like you're about to faint and fall off the swing. Your hands get clammy, and the air tastes sour to breathe. No. Just no. Say no to this, Harry.
Oh my god, it's mine! I drove my car into the sea!
I'm afraid so, yes. It looks like you drove your police motor carriage into the sea, after you jumped across a canal.
Maybe I was in pursuit of someone. How do we get it out? I can still fix it. They're not gonna take me back after this, are they? The badge, the gun, and now this? Things were going so well, we were just whistling merrily.
Of whom? I don't think so. If anything, you were probably drunk.
How do we get it out?
Detective, we don't. A rescue operation really isn't viable at this point.
It's sunken too deep. There is no access ramp to the coast.
So it's just gonna be there like that?
I'm afraid it will have to be there like that for many years. Look at it. Parts of it might be salvageable, but overall, this machine is a write-off.
I can fix it.
That is very unlikely. All the electrics are toast. That goes for the electromagnetic steering and brake systems as well. You'd be lucky to find one undamaged component in there. In a few months, there will be nothing but rust left of this vehicle. It'll be cheaper to buy a new one. Well, not cheaper. This motor carriage costs 40,000 real. But in the long run, it still makes more sense to buy a new machine than try to refurbish this.
I couldn't even pay a hostel bill.
Let's face it, this is a substantial loss to your district's budget. I mean, my station only has 4 other vehicles in addition to my kinema.
This was 20% of the station's vehicular budget.
They're not going to take me back after this, are they?
People are more valuable than machines. Training a police officer is even more costly.
The badge, the gun, and now this.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and doesn't say anything.
Things going so well, we were just whistling merrily.
You can still whistle. Besides, the night is always darkest before the dawn.
Well, at least I can see what's in there now. I gotta admit, I did not see that one coming.
Yes. Let's go take a look.
Despite how bleak and dramatic and weird this game is, I do like that it's got a good sense of humour. Oh, I think I've got my badge. This ice just off the coast crackles, shifting. A bottle drained of all its booze, frozen to the ice. That's my jacket, really. It's not a very good jacket. Yeah, I prefer that. What did I just pick up? Banged up fuel canister. I feel like that's just something I can sell, nothing else of real value. And there's my badge.
A police badge on which you see the photo of a man. You. Some seaweed is stuck to the back.
I found my badge!
At least something good came out of all this.
Study the badge.
Encased between two durable plastic sheets is a bluish card with lines of information and a watermark in the shape of the street grid of Revachol West. You see a photo, a name, a rank, a document number, the date of issue, and, in the lower right corner, your precinct.
Look at the photo.
The man keeps winking at you with his green-grey eyes. The photo is old, no doubt about that. But the badge is new. You used an old photo for a new badge.
How old?
8, maybe 10 years. The guy in the picture is rather good looking. He's got a nice haircut and is distinctly lacking in massive sideburns.
Well, there's nothing there saying it couldn't be more recent.
What do you think? His face is already contorted by the expression, although it looks less grotesque on him than it does on you now. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information on it, and a shining watermark.
Harrier. That's long for Harry. So you are Harry. Evrard was half right. Probably not a lot of people know your full name. Whoever told him you're Harry Dubois didn't.
Wait, what kind of name is Harrier?
It's a wartime name. Revolutionary. The kind mothers give their sons during troubled times. Like Undying or Boxer or Ironhide.
It's meant to keep you safe. From bullets, hunger, shrapnel, kidnappings, and worse.
Harrier Dubois it is then.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, Harrier Dubois.
He's not going to call you Harrier. He'll keep calling you officer when he's angry with you, and detective when he's not. The badge in your hands shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information.
Rank, Lieutenant, Second Junior, or
Lieutenant W. Freighter.
What is Lieutenant W. Freighter?
A lieutenant is a rank above sergeant and below captain. It's the highest rank in the RCM that still does field work. I am a lieutenant.
And W. Freighter?
The title of Freighter is added to your rank when you decline a promotion to a higher rank. In your case, captain. You have declined twice, thus you're W. Freighter.
Declined?
There are many reasons one would do this. The rank above you in your precinct's décomptage might be taken, or sometimes promoted officers do not want to replace their superiors out of respect. And sometimes they just prefer the type of police work available to their current rank. In your case, lieutenant.
Heavy-duty case-solving machine.
What's a décomptage?
Décomptage is the hierarchical system employed by the Revachol citizens militia. It means counting down to twos.
The countdown is modeled after the dual leadership system employed by the left during the revolution, which, in turn, was developed by last-century experimental psychologists in the University of Königstein.
The lowest rank is junior officer, usually teenagers. Then there are the patrol officers, then sergeants, lieutenants, then a captain. That's basically it, except for a few kings.
What kings?
Kings like satellite officers and the additionally a freighter rank I already explained.
The long and short of it is, you're his superior.
Wait. Satellite officers?
You are given the title of satellite officer if your partner is quickly promoted through the ranks and you rise with him. You don't seem to be a satellite.
So you've been putting up with all my bullshit because I'm your superior?
No, I've been putting up with you because despite an unconventional approach, you are doing good police work.
Damn right.
It matters more than driving your motor carriage into the sea. And now we've even found your badge.
He trusts you, for now. Try not to spoil it.
Yes, apparently you've had a rather successful career in the past, and this leads me to believe maybe your current situation is only temporary.
Thanks, that gives me hope.
Good.
Turn back to the documents.
Such a small yet precious thing. Expensive paper caught between thick plastic, like a fly in amber.
That's just the serial number. Revachol, Jamrock, Precinct 41, with some numbers thrown in there for good measure.
The numbers are not there for good measure. They have an administrative purpose, one that's unfortunately been erased from your memory.
Date of issue, 7th of November, 50.
4 months ago. I'm guessing that's when you were promoted to the rank of Lieutenant W. Freighter. A new badge usually comes with a new rank. You seem to have been doing well then.
The pain in your chest tells you you were working yourself to death to earn that rank. You're pretty sure you weren't doing well, but better? Probably yes.
Precinct 41.
Yes, it's the designation of your precinct. 41, like mine says 57. The 57th is mostly industrial harbor, a lot of asphalt. The 41st is...
What?
It's a tough station to work in. You have all of Jamrock to cover. That district should have 3 precincts, but money is what it is.
It's no wonder you are like you are, he thinks. But then again, it's a legendary district, and a hell of a station too. It must be an honor and a curse to work with people like Price, McCoy, Berdiaeva. Roberts, Feuerbach, Dimitri. Suddenly, names from your decomptage flash in your forebrain. And you? Is it an honor to work with you? Don't ask him, ask yourself. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it.
Right, so I've got my badge back, which now opens up a bunch of possibilities. It's coming towards the end of the day though, so I'm going to start heading back. If I can figure out how to get back. Been down here, haven't I? Yes. Right, I am gonna go and speak to Joyce because now she can speak to me because I've got a badge. Although this is gonna end up in a very long and probably not all that interesting conversation. Just warning you. Oh, I could, yeah, that's a hell of a lot I've got to do. I'm remembering a bunch of stuff now.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
So I've been... right, where's the thing I need?
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
6 kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
What am I?
You? You're an officer of the RCM.
The Revachol Citizens Militia.
Preciso mundo.
Good, and what is the Revachol Citizens Militia?
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
He's being sarcastic.
You said de facto.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
That's it for the who I am part of then.
Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are to me is the police, the only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I am here to help. Nothing more.
Yes,
His beings.
we are.
Yes, that means the RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
So I'm basically a thrall to a foreign interest, so I'm basically one of the good guys. So I'm basically going to avoid this subject and ask the next question in this line of inquiry.
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent, provisional rulers like it. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you.
Why?
The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol.
Thank you, ma'am.
And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
What is this?
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
I mean, what is this place
Ah.
here?
This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislaine, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or 2.
What is Rue de Saint-Ghislaine 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in them?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate. before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
Wonderful.
What is that?
The girl in the old lady rags.
Yes.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture?
Yes. You and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
Okay, now explain the same thing but to a child.
Young people who dye their hair funny colours and wear old people's clothes are stupid, and their little rebellion is self-defeating. All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
I think I may be part of an infraculture.
And what would that be?
I don't know, I just feel it.
Ah, yes. That is what counts, I suppose. For my part, I was more of a new girl.
The new.
The new. A cultural era. And the name of the decade it ravished, the 30s. It came out of post-revolutionary Revachol. It was ultra-liberal. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-coloured everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Now.
Sounds fun, I can't remember a single thing. Champagne, that doesn't sound like anything I'd be into, I'm straight edge. Got it, let's take it back to Reality Central for the next one.
Wasn't it Guillaume Le Million who said, if you can remember the new, you weren't there?
For some reason, your mind is a veritable repository of Guillaume Le Million lyrics, trivia, and B-sides. But the time to explore this is when you're alone, facing a mirror perhaps. Right now, it would derail the reality lowdown.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Right.
She's not even asking you anything. It's so easy to just say.
Of course, Detective. You can always drop by later, should something come up. Now, what else can I do for you?
Wild Pines.
What we do. I'm afraid...
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines call and that is the term.
The Wild Pines group is one. She nods.
Right, how do I get her to talk about the stuff that I need the badge for?
Of
I think
course.
this is it. The scabs at the gate, did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organised by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
I'm glad you asked.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story. Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
What happened to this
Mr.
Guillemot?
Clare told him to... How did he... Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Not cool.
Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
What
There are
about
leaflets
demands?
everywhere, and about every worker.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Then you might also like their other slogan. Demand democracy. Personally, I don't think it has this. It's quite simple. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening and now,
Excuse me, from whom did you hear?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertised.
This checks out. No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines group has more effective...
Everard Clare is a man of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
That's all
He
right.
is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
I remember hearing something about this Edgar.
Have you seen him?
No.
Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The débardeurs organize labor at its...
A mob. The débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be.
Refreshingly honest, officer. And your opinion, detective? If I may ask. Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman...
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last... Indeed. The point of the...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course.
Don't tell her you've met Everard right away. There's time.
Right. So there was something that I couldn't talk to her about because I needed the badge, and now I'm having a hard time figuring out what the hell it was. Oh, about my missing badge again. Yeah, that's probably the one.
I'm afraid I can't say any more until we've taken care of formal protocol.
You'll never guess what I found. My badge.
Did you? Wonderful.
She's memorizing your badge number.
It is a relief to see a W freighter here. The situation is precarious, to say the least. It needs a quick solution, or we will have a bloodbath on our hands.
I've already heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike, but I need your testimony.
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
A momentary lapse of faith?
They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
What then?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now.
For now?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
I have to say, this is not disco. Maybe the investigations can team up, you know, share resources and intelligence.
Surely you're joking. These people are killers. My only hope is that yours provides a single, concrete suspect before they indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project strength and power.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's second largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
I can't see it happen. Too many things would have to go wrong first. Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true, Lieutenant W. Frater Dubois. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
You said contain the situation?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
What can you tell me about Krenor?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell. They boast a long list of clients: Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Okay, anything else you got on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenel.
Could you contact the company? Tell them to call them off?
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
You said the deceased assaulted a woman.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Who did the passing on then?
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
What did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk. Maybe on narcotics, too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
And who was this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the Colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
This Colonel, the one who was hanged? Did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
His name was...
Lely. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Tell me about the others first.
One is a man. Corty, they call him. A nickname as well. The other a woman. Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
Indeed, this matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the remaining two mercs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Vigilantes? The RCM gets its authority from the Coalition. Where does theirs come from? We still need to know where they are. We'll confront them directly.
Somehow, I doubt that lecturing them on the legitimate use of force will persuade them to stand down.
We'll still need to know where they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Where are these mercenaries? 97% chance? I'll take that chance.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbour gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise.
One must be the goon in ill-fitting work clothes by the harbour gates, the scab leader.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
One must be the goon in ill-fitting work clothes by the harbour gate. Right, I've already asked that. Right.
I hope I can answer it better.
How much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Now, can you tell me about these tattoos?
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute in silence.
It was taken with a Trigat not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
What do you think?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Like blooms in a pattern?
Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
What is the use of this map?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
So he's got a tattoo of a map on his body. Bit like Prison Break.
Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semnes Islands, then this.
What is that?
Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Inter-Islary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
In Martinez looking into Krenon, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
This man is no brother of mine, but this is his service history.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary to complete the task, officer. It's a dangerous side task. Search elsewhere.
I need the information.
Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
That's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
I believe that's it.
Of course. Anything to help. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is
Right, made a lot of progress there, got a lot of useful information. And let's level up now. Let's see, what's low? So got a lot of freeze, is there a... there, that's low. A physical instrument. That's only a 1. Why is that so low? Okay, that's went up 1. I could have swore that was higher. Oh well. Right. Ask Scab Leader about tattoos. What's this? Yeah. Ask another about the tattoos. Right, now we're gonna go into this building here and speak to the guy on the balcony. I know I could have entered through that door there, but I want to go through the door in which I know the guy was. I'm really trying to make as much progress as I can today. Because I like this game, but it is dragging a little bit. Sometimes I feel like I'm just not making any progress at all. Today has been the complete opposite. Just a door, nothing for you here right now. Up the stairs. Right.
This door is made of metal and no one answers.
We should return in the evening, at 9 p.m. the earliest.
Oh, I'm too early. Right. Well, I'm not waiting around here till 9 p.m, so let's see, what else can I do? I've got to find the music for that. Keep searching for the caller, keep searching for them. Find a way in there. I might actually have a way in there now. Right, I know where I'm going now. Time to go to the ice cream maker. I'm worried that by the time I do this, what I'm about to do now, some of the other stuff will be unavailable until tomorrow. When I really just kind of want to get some things quickly checked off. Right, so down here. Right, I've got to equip that item now. Where is it? It's a tool, not an item. There we go.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top. Ice squeaks beneath your Kavalzund malt. Unplugging the ice cream maker will allow it to defrost.
So I've got to defrost it before... Right.
2 cables are plugged into the breaker box. An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now.
I'm guessing I'm gonna have to come back later to do this.
This orange machine is buzzing like...
Yeah.
Turning the crank.
Right. So I'll come back once that's defrosted. I'll also... Well, no, I'll keep the tool out now because I think I might be able to use it on something else. Possibly. Get the ice cream maker open, find the right tool, or ask Suna for help. Well, I've got the tool, I just need it to defrost. In here, a couple of people I want to talk to here, assuming they're still around. And I want to check out the door. Check out the door first, because I think this is going to be a real quick thing.
A heavy steel door. The door does not. The cobalt blues.
Alright, well I'll put that thing away then. That hasn't worked as I expected. I'll give Gort his bird because that's going to be a quick one.
Can I help you?
Gort, I found a new bird for the whirling.
What is this thing?
It's no biggie, I just thought it would look nice on the wall. I'm that kind of cop. I want to apologise for breaking the great skewer by bringing you this ruffed grouse.
Okay. Okay, well, this is actually a nice bird. A competent piece of taxidermy. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. So, I don't know. Thank you. I'm gonna go with thank you.
People just don't know how to accept gifts, especially taxidermy. He likes it.
Oh, he's not reading the rest. He likes the bird. It solves his broken bird problem.
This was mostly about the fucking cardio. Massive cardio here. You'll live till 90, or you get a heart attack from running.
Right.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people random stuffed animals.
It's not actually about that, but he liked it.
Goodbye.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
I ran into your husband on the coast.
Goodness, how is he? Did he say why he hasn't returned yet?
He's fine, ma'am. As we had suspected, he couldn't get back earlier because the water lock on the canal was broken. Now he's just finishing up some work.
Oh, yes. That's my Morel. He's bound to catch a cold staying out there for so long. But I am so relieved to hear that he's okay. Thank you for putting an old woman's heart at ease, if even a little.
You haven't, however. There are dangers out there. Our aging body's foul. Her heart won't rest until Morel is safely back with her.
You never told me you've seen the Phasmid.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
No, I really want to know.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden...
Wait, where was this and how old were you?
I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5 in Betancourt in the suburbs. My grandmother had a summer home there.
What happened?
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some antique toy. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there, knee-deep in mud, looking around me.
Then what?
I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly. But then I met Morel. We were on our first date when I told him my story. You should have seen his face. He said my descriptions matched the Phasmid down to a T. Its white marble limbs, the way it moved.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant for them.
You were on a date?
Our first. Yes.
The sigh is tender. The sigh is tender, yes, but tempered by something else. A thought she can't express. Interesting.
Its limbs are white?
Not all of them, as far as I remember. Some of them. On the inside, like stalks of marble, if that makes sense.
How big was it?
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case.
Maybe you imagined it.
Of course. I've thought about it. But Morel says my report matches with the others. And I'm sure I hadn't heard of the phasmid as a child. Nor had my mother or my grandmother. So how did I know what to imagine? It was only when I started telling my story as a teenager that boys would tell me, Lena, you trying to tell us you saw the Insulindian phasmid out there in those reeds? Get out of here. They just give me a cider and ruffle my hair and tell me to stop dreaming. But I saw it.
Kim, what do you think of this?
I thought it was a wonderful story, man.
But I don't believe it. A child left unattended on a warm day. Children make up stories and then end up believing them.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So warm.
And she could get up and walk right into the reeds on her own, into the mud, anywhere.
Alright, let's talk to these one more time.
Yes? What is it? Of course I'm with him. Why do you ask?
And you look like you don't bathe, on principle.
Please, let's not turn this into another exchange, okay?
Are we not from the same police station?
God damn it, you leave her alone. Keep your weird bullshit to yourself and be professional for once, for fuck's sake.
Can I actually help you with something?
Yes, of course. Preposterous. I mean, you would remember if they were, right?
Again? I can't believe it.
What's that? Hidden. That's new, isn't it? Right, well with that I am going to end this stream there. Because it's time to give my dog his stick. And if you've liked this stream, watching it live on Twitch, thanks for watching of course. But this has been Disco Elysium as I head back to my home to end the night. You can catch all of my Disco Elysium playthrough as well as a bunch of other videos like a Cyberpunk 2077 review and a Hitman 3 review, and in the next few days sometime a special video all about Mass Effect coming on to Games with Grant, my YouTube channel, Games with Grant on YouTube. Video game content galore. If you want more film and TV content though, go to Grant Burton on YouTube. That's my film and TV YouTube channel, Grant Burton. And why not go over to Twitter and Instagram and follow me there at @the_Grant Burton if you want. I will be back with Disco Elysium tomorrow morning GMT. I'll probably have 2 streams of Disco Elysium tomorrow if I'm lucky. One in the morning, one in the afternoon. So plenty more to come. And yes, until next time, thanks for watching this stream. I hope you've enjoyed the game and I hope you've enjoyed me as well. But let's face it, you probably haven't. Until next time though, thanks for watching.